Chris Brown, Steve Tasker, and the Hall of Famer Thurman Thomas here in studio. Thurman, welcome.
Thank you, sir.
How much were you puffing your chest out after Sunday's game against the Cowboys?
Are you kidding me? Oh, man, I wish I could have had a game like that against them in the Super Bowl. Yeah, but, hey.
Me too.
Yeah, right. So
Before you finished that sentence, I was like, wait a second. You have had games like that, but okay, you qualified it.
Yeah, but anyway. No, it was great to see,
I mean, the thing about it was for us after the game, it was like one of the few games this year that was like almost stress-free.
Yeah, stress-free.
We
Haven't had a lot of those.
Game.
Had a couple in week 2, 3, and 4.
And 4, but man,
Right.
oh man, just absolutely. And it's even more so, it seems really deep down stress-free in your soul when all they do is run it. It's like, okay, you got
Right,
but when
yeah.
you throw it, bad, so tipped interception makes it all go bad, and now you're nervous again. But when they're handing it off, it's like,
Yeah.
it's like, give us another round.
Give us another round. Yeah, exactly. And you're there, that offensive line, they had to be loving it. And you can tell Dallas wasn't liking it.
Yeah.
They didn't want any part of what happened. And the thing that I love about it, it started at the beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like, this is what we got. And then when I looked at their front seven, really, kind of smallish guys.
Yeah.
Kind of smallish guys.
And they play a ton of dime.
They
ton of
kept.
dime.
I was going to ask you. Were you surprised? I didn't know until after you come out and you see all the stats and all that. It gets kind of distilled out.
Yeah.
And they didn't get out of dime. They didn't want to get out of dime.
They didn't
Which
wanna get out
tells
of
me
dime.
they were really afraid of Josh.
Right.
To me, that's amazing.
Yeah. We always talk about it, and we've heard it. Nobody makes adjustments. They didn't make the
I
adjustments.
don't know what Dan Quinn was thinking there, but I guess he was terrified of Josh throwing it over their heads. I don't know. And that leads me to my next question, Thurm. How much more difficult is it now for future opponents of the Bills to effectively defend this team after they're going to watch this tape from last week and go, Josh only threw the ball 15 times and they won by 21 points? How much more difficult are the Bills now to defend after what James Cook put on tape last week?
Well, I think if you look at it throughout the year, well, I guess maybe all the way until Joe got the job. I mean, because Dorsey had the same job, but and Cook had some good games.
Yeah.
He had some good games, but now you're seeing the whole repertoire of catching the ball out of the backfield, hitting plays on the outside and in the inside, lining up, doing screens, doing it all. But we didn't see a lot of that, early in the season, but he was still putting up numbers in different kind of ways. Yeah. And so now, you know what? Hey, this helps everybody. This helps Diggs and his last 3 or 4 games
he was
struggle.
just talking about that.
Yeah, it helps everybody. I mean, like Dawson Knox, he might be back into the flow now. So
Right.
I mean, it spreads across the line of scrimmage and the offensive side of the ball that, and Josh is not, our leading ball carrier anymore.
He's not even the engine.
Yeah, he's not even it.
You got like this 747 sitting off there, in the hangar.
waiting to take
Right.
off, right?
You got Cook is like flying around, and you got the 747 still, getting a paint job.
Yeah.
Here's the thing I was going to ask you as well. So you're the Los Angeles Chargers. I always have to hesitate because I would keep calling them San Diego. You got the Chargers coming in. They get absolutely embarrassed by an embarrassing team to get embarrassed by.
Exactly.
And head coach gone, general manager gone. You got
St. Fran.
Gift Smith, Tom Telesco. Yeah, we both texted him.
Right.
So you got Gift Smith, a position coach, taking over as head coach. None of the coaching staff's coming back next year. None of them.
It's a mess.
It's an absolute mess.
I don't.
How do you approach getting ready for that?
Well, you know what? Guys in the locker room, hey, you know what? This might be our last shot. Some of maybe the veteran players or whatever.
Those guys,
they have to be in that locker room right now going, hey, guys, I know we're going through stuff with no head coach, no general manager, but you know what? There's still film out there. There's still plays to be made because you don't know what coach is going to come in here. We all could be gone. So let it let's put it on tape to say, I want that guy from San Diego.
Here's
he
the
just
thing,
needed some different coaching, some different a different organization.
And maybe, but also too, think of it, the old guys. Like if they're thinking, this was gonna be, if this was gonna be your last year, you may walk. It's a walkthrough. Like I just want to get out of here.
Sorry,
I've got my money in the
I
bank.
want to start my retirement with a knee surgery.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just gonna go out. That's Avonte Davis time.
Yeah.
Right?
And they got some older Max out there, right?
Yeah, he's 32.
He's 32.
But he's chasing some sack
Darren
numbers.
Williams, right? One of the defensive backs.
Derwin James.
Derwin James,
yeah.
He's a young player.
He's a younger
I
player.
mean, he's a fifth-year player.
I mean, even with everything that's going wrong, you know who's been like the consistent guy with him? It's been Keenan Allen.
Right, but he missed last week's game with a heel injury, and they don't know if he's going to play this week either.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, but I'm just saying, like, before that, you know,
Yeah.
he's been like their most consistent players. Eckler, right?
Right.
He'll be able to play. Yeah, I'm not sure what coach. I don't know if you give this to a college coach or not, or
Yeah.
it's going to be really difficult for them to try to find somebody. I mean, you want to say somebody like a Belichick who came in and just transformed New England.
Sure.
That's what they need. They
Right.
need it across the board.
And their owner, John Spanos,
Nobody
not their
likes.
owner, their president, who's the son of the owner,
Yes.
he basically went on record saying they will spend whatever they need to spend.
There's no limitations.
No limitations in hiring a coach or building a roster because for decades they've played it on the cheap.
Yes.
I mean, it's
Well,
not
that's
a
why they're-
it's not a secret out there
That's why they share it with
that
the
the
Rams.
last head coaching cycle,
Right. That's
the
why they're not
last
in-
head
that's not
coaching
in
cycle,
San Diego.
the Chargers were down to Brandon Staley and Brian Daboll, and Brandon Staley cost less money,
Right.
so that's why they went
Right.
with Brandon
That's why they
Staley.
went with that. Anyway, well, let's get back to the offensive
We'll see
player
how
of the
that
week,
worked out.
baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Cook has given future opponents a lot more to think about now. It's not just thinking about Josh Allen with this Bills offense.
Yeah.
So I just wonder, as much as defenses have to now think about Cook as much as they think about Allen, I wonder what this puts in the head of Joe Brady with future game plans. Obviously, there was a lot of game plan, opponent-specific stuff last week that prompted them to go with the run game as much as they did. Because even Mitch Morse after the game said, well, we didn't really plan to run that much, but they didn't change anything, so we just kept doing it.
Right.
So this week, what Cook showed on the field last week, how do you think that influences a coordinator
plan,
going
yeah.
forward
Yeah.
with future game plans?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, the number one guy is always going to be Josh. He's going to be the main focal point of the offense. So whatever wrinkles you want to put in now, I think it's a great opportunity for you to try those. Look, these next two games should be winnable games. And this is the kind of time sometimes where you try just different things, just
play
to
or
see
two
a
here or
play
there.
or two here. You don't change your entire offense, but you change where I mean has Cook's motioned over to Diggs' side. And how that going to come? Have you did different things like that? I've always seen Diggs motion, but it's usually to a tight end or another wide receiver. So how about if you have James Cook? Just throw in a couple of different plays, I think, and have that on the field. And you know what? Try it in the game.
Yeah, because
Try it in the game.
Because I was thinking like third down, Murray's usually on the field, although Ty Johnson got a little more time last week, but Murray's usually on the field on third down. Why can't you put Cook out wide somewhere and leave Murray in the backfield? If you're worried about pass protection, leave Murray back there, split out Cook.
Yeah, well, I do think at important time, you're going to have to say, hey, Cook, you're going to have to pick this guy up no matter
Yeah,
what.
but also, who's going to – you got to sit somebody down. You got two backs on the field. You're going to put Kincaid on the bench or Knox on the bench, Shakir on the bench. Somebody's got to sit down. So that becomes another layer of
again,
it.
Sounds
I'm not
like
saying-
a great
I'm
problem
not-
to have.
I know. I'm not, and again, I'm not saying all the time. To Thurman's point, you're talking about a couple of plays here that you might weave into the game plan because of what he demonstrated.
I know. So here's the thing: we're flying high. We beat the Cowboys and the Chiefs in successive weeks. So
Here it comes.
I get it, and this is a team you should lump up pretty good. there is something to be gained by Joe Brady saying, okay, listen, if this does get out of hand and we are lumping these guys up, we're going to do about 12 or 13 plays sprinkled in that are going to be analytics busters. They're going to break tendencies. We're going to throw off all the, we're going to make it look like we don't do this too much.
Or we want to put something on film to people.
That's exactly
for people
right.
To see, right.
We are going to put like James Cook split wide to the boundary by himself. And we are going to put, motion. We're all going to do all that. We got all this stuff on. We're not going to do it until we're up, and we're going to start sprinkling it in so we can get some benefit out of this game and make some teams prepare for some things that we have no intention of doing.
Well, it's just like the teams that we kind of have a problem with Kansas City. They do all that with Travis Kelce, with the tight end playing quarterback. I mean, they do a lot of that motion stuff with their running backs and stuff. Mahomes is out there. We haven't seen Josh Allen out there. Line up at wide receiver.
Josh, a good athlete.
Josh,
Hey, he caught a touchdown pass in a playoff
do
game.
it, right?
I question his ability to release on one against bump press. But you're right. You do some of that.
Yeah.
There's probably a little bit in there that you think in a game like this, you might want to have that on a separate little spot on your play call sheet to change some analytics numbers. If you're doing some self-scout, say like, we're doing this 100% of the time we get into the situation, we're doing this. So teams, so let's break that up a little bit. That kind of stuff.
Yeah, work on the screen game.
But you can't do it unless you're lumping them up, bro. I mean, you gotta play.
I think you can do the screen game with Cook maybe in the lineup.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Early in the game.
Yeah. What?
Yeah. Okay.
Don't waste a play on a screen. We can't do it.
Just say Steve's giving up.
Just say we can't do that. We can't do that. We're not gonna waste our time.
All right. Hey, once again, congratulations, Cook. Great job, man. Great job. When
I'm sure you texted him after.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And he's like, man, it felt so good.
Oh,
it felt so good, man. And like he's the first if you think of like all the backs we've had since I guess I looked up, Travis Henry was the last one, 2002.
Yeah.
AFC
for AFC Offensive Player of the Week.
Yeah, and
it's been a minute.
Really, yeah, it's been a minute.
It's been 2 decades.
But we've had some. I took a
guys,
screenshot. We've had like Fred's been here, Marshawn's been here, Shady's been here,
McGahee.
Yeah, McGahee. I mean, we've had guys that have never. Until 2002. I mean, that's a long time.
I'll say this, though. That Cowboys game last weekend was as close to that offensive line you had working for you in that Chiefs championship game. That's as close to a dominant offensive line as we've seen here in a long, long time. And they both go, I know you give your guys credit up front of you, and I'm sure Cook would too, but those performances by those 5 guys up front are rare. And James was there to take advantage of it, and he did some awesome stuff. So the two of them together turn into that. That's what it takes.
He made some moves. He made some moves, showed great balance. I mean, I thought that should have been a touchdown.
Yeah.
Got to the one.
Got down to the one. I was like, oh, yeah, but somebody was coming up behind him. So, I'm just.
Curse got him from behind.
It is a fast defense, Dallas. There's no question about that.
It is a fast. Josh found that out quick, too. Josh got run down like a wounded puppy a couple of times. He started, Josh busting out, think, okay, he's going to get it. And that guy's like, closes it on him.
Fast.
Like, Josh,
it's a fast group.
You can see Josh do a double take and then put the stiff arm out, right? Because he thought he was going to be free.
New England or something.
Yeah. Exactly.
James Cook is on fire to celebrate another away game week. We're giving away a signed James Cook football. Enter today at buffalobills.com/giveaway. No word if he signs it James or Jimbo, since that's what his teammates call him, Jimbo. I would guess it's James.
Jimbo. Wow. They call him Jimbo?
Oh, yeah, the team calls him Jimbo. Yeah. Josh started that, and everybody calls him that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it is.
It's not incorrect.
James.
Yeah, it's not incorrect.
Yeah, that's what we call it, Jimbo.
I don't know that he cares for it, but it is what it is.
Once
you have a nickname,
he's going to have to live with it.
He got it last year as a rookie, so he had no say whatsoever.
You don't get a
picture. I didn't get Squatty. I mean,
not exactly.
Squatty.
He could be called a lot worse things than Jimbo. Just take it, smile, and wave.
Elijah Pitts, when we were in stretch, and Eli comes through walking, gives Thurman. He says, Thurman's going to sue the town of Orchard Park. He was like, what? He goes, yeah. They built the sidewalks too close to his butt.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Squatty. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jeez.
It's a nice
yeah.
locker room.
All right, let's talk
You got some
Bills.
thick skin.
Let's talk Bills O-line here, Thurm.
Yeah.
Steve and I have discussed this on the show. We did a whole podcast on it, as a matter of fact. You know, you think about the investment in the offseason, Connor McGovern on one side, Osiris Torrance on the other at the guard spots. Spencer Brown kind of coming into his own this year, arguably playing his best season in a Bills uniform since he got here. And Deion's just kind of doing his thing over there with Mitch in the pivot. Do you think this is the best offensive line the Bills have had in the 7-year McDermott era?
All the averages are up. Touches are up, maybe. Yardage is up. I would say yes.
Yeah.
I would definitely say yes. And really, the last game against the Cowboys, I mean, how many counter trades did they run? Pulling the guard and the tackle.
A lot.
10,
Yeah, a lot.
12,
That's a
15.
lot.
That's a lot. And that's telling you, hey, you know what? Our big guys can get up and go.
Well, right. Deion, we know, he's been an athlete since he got here. I mean, that's a 320-pound guy that was doing backflips his first 2 years in the league. I mean, he can literally do a backflip, which is stupid at that weight. I don't know if he can do it anymore, but when he was a younger guy, he could do it. And then Spencer Brown was a tight end in 8-man football in high school.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy can run. Yeah. I'm not saying he's going to juke somebody out in a hole, but he can, once he gets up and moving, he can go. So there aren't many teams in the league with two tackles who can run that pull scheme all the way across the formation and lead a back up through a hole. Like, that's pretty rare, isn't it?
It's pretty rare of that, but I've only seen maybe – I don't know if I've seen a lot of teams this year actually pull the guard and the tackle. I don't see it. I mean, I've seen Kelsey, the center for Philadelphia, pull.
Yeah.
But he's kind of a one-man
And Mitchell do that.
And Mitchell do it. Yeah. So, I mean, it's been good to see that, hey, you know what? When it's time to play smash mouth football, we can. And if not, you know what? We can do it where our guys are coming off angles and everything like that. So, yeah, I love it, man. It has been, though, like you said, I think it has been the best offensive line he's had since he's been there.
I'll tell you what, it looked so good against Dallas. It had me thinking, gosh, I wonder if they can bounce back and stay sharp in their passing game because I wonder if Josh.
Right.
You
Now
know,
They didn't have a lot of practice.
right.
Right.
I was like, yeah, it's almost
So-
the point. Like, wow, I wonder if they can get it back together in the passing game. 'Cause, like they lost it.
Will they be calling the audible from
Right.
a pass to a run now?
Right.
I mean,
It was crazy. It was going so well.
yeah.
You just don't see that in the league very often. That's why when it happens, it's eye catching.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's a shift in anything. I don't think it's some sort of paradigm shift where I think they're a throw first.
You're not going to see
team.
12
Right.
to 15 backs getting the ball
Right.
20, 25 times.
Exactly.
From here on
I
out.
think it was a game that turned out that way, and the Bills were smart enough and disciplined enough to say, "Hey, let's go.
Let's keep doing
and just keep doing it."
But how much does that empower Joe Brady where if there is a game plan where it's back to what we're used to seeing and Josh is throwing it 40 times and maybe it's not coming together or they're having a couple of series where they go 3 and out and they're like, let's try to change the conversation. How much does it empower Joe Brady to know he's got that in his back pocket if he needs to turn to it?
Man, a lot. I mean, it's pretty much reaching into a jar and just pulling out whatever play you want to run. Because you have
as long as you're on schedule,
as
right?
long as you're on schedule, yeah. And I think over the first 6 or 7 weeks when Dorsey was here, we all kind of figured because I said to the TV a lot, don't do a running play right now. You're already throwing something or whatever. Don't run the play. Now it's like, you know what? There were times in this game against Dallas where I was like, I think they might pass it here. Because we haven't seen Josh, right? I think they might pass it. And I was totally fooled. Totally fooled. I mean, they just kept running and running.
Yeah.
So I was like, man.
I'll say this
is
too.
Awesome.
And that takes some intestinal fortitude from the coordinator also because a lot of these guys nowadays are like, well, I ran it 3 times here. Like, should I really run it again? It's time to throw, isn't it? And he just said, the hell with that. Till they stop it, we're going to keep going.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you're only going to go so many plays without letting number 17 take over. You're only going to do that so many times. But it was rolling.
They had to lead.
They had to lead, and I even saw a couple of plays where it was a handoff, and Josh was somewhere in the play by Cook on a couple of the
Oh, yeah,
plays.
yeah,
Like he
he
was
came
going
out.
to be
You
the
can see it in
lead
one of these-
blocker.
yeah,
I was like,
Josh
where
is
did that
carrying
come
out
from?
the fake like it's an RPO or something. He might pull it out and run with it, and he made Micah hesitate.
Yeah.
And then Micah, as fast as he is, couldn't catch up. Then it was done.
Yeah,
So
it was done.
and that little ball fake for Josh. Then there was a couple times when there was a one time I think you're talking about when James Cook cut back and Josh had moved up the field and he's like cutting right back to Josh.
Right, yeah.
So it's hard to imagine an NFL game going that well for any team's running game. Even like the Tennessee Titans with Derrick Henry. It's hard to imagine that. Because even then, you snap off a 65-yarder once in a while with Henry and all that. This game was just like, man, it was like 12 yards,
I
8
think,
yards,
like right
6
now,
yards,
these next
8 yards.
couple of games, they're going to be the one that's going to be in control. They're going to make you switch on defense. They're going to make you because they're going to be ready to knowing that we got this running game now, and the offensive linemen are feeling good now, and Cook offensive player of the week. Oh yeah. We're the lead dog right now, and Chargers, watch out because we might do the same thing to you what we just did to the Dallas Cowboys. Because I think they're a smaller type of defensive line too, somewhat in that range with the Cowboys. So, yeah, I think it's roll the dice, baby.
All right. Thurman, thanks for coming in as always. Enjoy the game. Don't forget, it's Saturday night, not Sunday. And it'll be on NBC here locally in the Buffalo market, Peacock everywhere else.